Hello everyone, welcome to the 11th session on oil hydraulics and pneumatics. In this specific video, I will be ending the fluid power system symbols topic. There are total two type of symbols left. Very first are the fluid conditioning element symbols and last one are the miscellaneous symbols that we are using with fluid power system symbols. So let us understand very first set of symbols, the fluid conditioning elements. But before understanding the fluid conditioning element, let us understand how these symbols can be identified. Any kind of fluid conditioning element will have the symbol of the diamond shape. As you can observe, this is a diamond shaped symbol which actually represent a kind of fluid conditioning element. This is what we always need to remember. The very first variety of the fluid conditioning element is the filter. The filter will help you to filter the solid unwanted particles from the fluid. So to show the filter, you need to show this diamond symbol. At the one end you will be having the inlet, second end you are having the outlet, and the fluid will pass through this line which represents the filter and it will be cleaned. Clear? So this is how the filter symbol can be interpreted. This is the symbol of the filter. The next symbol that I am having or we are having are the cooler symbols. Now as you can observe, this is your line, the main line, the incoming, outgoing. This is the diamond symbol, and over here there are two arrows available. From the main line, this is the outside arrow, this is also one outside arrow. Now what this arrow indicates? This arrow indicates that all the heat that is available within this specific pipeline is actually getting extracted outside. That means all the heat is flowing outside the system, and this is what the function of the cooler is. Cooler will cool down the fluid with help of removing the heat from this specific line. Understood? So this is what you can understand from this specific symbol. Now inversely, if it is the symbol of the heater, अगर ये heater का symbol होता तो वो कैसा दिखता? So it can be simply represented by showing the line that is going in the inward direction, which is the reverse symbol basically. Okay, so this specific thing shows that the heat is flowing towards the main line. Okay, so the heat is flowing into the system. This is how the heater can be represented. Now in the heater, if the heat is sent with the help of the liquid medium, in that case you need to represent these lines. This line indicates that the flow is coming inside and the flow is going outside. Over here there is a heat exchanging taking place. Then this specific arrow shows that the liquid medium is used for the heating purpose because the arrow is completely blocked. Second medium that we normally use is the air medium or the gaseous medium, and as this is the air or gaseous medium, you have to actually keep the arrow closed, but it is not a blocked arrow. This is just an empty arrow. Clear? So if you want to show the air or gaseous medium for heating purpose, in that case you need to show the empty arrow. This is how the cooler and heater actually looks like. Now if you want to show any generalized system of the heat exchangers, maybe it is a heater, it may be cooler, it may be condenser, it may be any kind of the system which is a heat exchanger, in that case this is the generalized symbol for the same. This is the symbol of the heat exchanger, this is the inlet and outlet, and this specific blocked arrow shows the symbol of the heat exchanger. Clear? So this is the generalized symbol of the heat exchanger. Next symbol is the symbol of the separator. Now separators are normally used in the pneumatic side only. They are also known as the water traps. Now from the name you can observe that they are the water traps. So basically they are used to remove the water from the air. Okay, now over here this is the inlet, this is the outlet, and whatever the water is extracted can be collected over here. So this is how the symbol can be understood. Now if you observe the single line over here, this indicates the manual draining of this separator. Clear? But if you observe the arrow showing the downward direction, something like this shows the automatic drain mechanism available in the separator or water drain. Clear? So separator or water drain are basically two types, a manual drain type and the automatic drain type. The function of the both is to remove water from the air. The second symbol is the symbol of the air dryer. Now, as you can observe, this is the separator which separates water from the air, which is having a single line available over here, and the air dryer is having two lines available on the top and the bottom. Okay, so basically it helps you to remove the humidity from the air. Once again, this is the pneumatic one because the air is the inlet and the outlet of this specific conditioning system. The next is the symbol of the lubricator. Now, normally in the pneumatic systems, lubricators are used because there is no oil flowing through these pipelings or say through the systems, so that lubrication is required. And the symbol of the lubricator is this one. So this is the diamond symbol, this is the inlet, this is the outlet, and this indicates the input of the lubricator. So from here the lubrication should come out. Okay, so this is how the symbol can be understood. So this shows, the whole symbol shows the lubrication in the pneumatic systems. And the last symbol of the conditioning unit is the FRL unit. This is the very last symbol representation of the conditioning system. And if you observe that there are set of symbols available which we have already learned in our previous slide. So this is the detailed representation of the complete FRL unit. But what FRL basically stands for? FRL stands for filtration, regulation and the lubrication. And the same system is available over here. All the symbols represents filtration, regulation and the lubrication. So let us understand them one by one. This is a detailed representation and this is a miniature representation or say simplified symbolic representation. Both are correct and both are accurate. So let us understand all these symbols one by one. So over here, if you observe, the very first set of symbol represents the filtration unit. And if you observe in the detail representation, this is a conditioning symbol in which we are having the vertical dotted line that represents the filtration unit. Second, if you observe the downward arrow, this specifically represents the water trap. So this is a combined system or say combined symbol of filtration unit and the water trap, isn't it? Now, the same can be represented like this in the simplified way. The second symbol, if you observe, is the regulator unit. This is a detailed regulator unit. We are having the pressure regulator system symbol as well as the pressure indicator device, which we are going to learn in the next slide. And the same symbol is represented over here, which shows the regulator system. And the third one that you are observing is the lubrication system unit. So over here, as you can observe, this is the diamond symbol available, and on the top this is one line available which represents the lubrication. The same can be simply represented like this. So this is all about the FRL unit. Now we are going to move towards the miscellaneous symbols. The very first symbol or say set of symbol that I am going to show you are the symbol of the accumulator. Now, what are the accumulators? Accumulators are actually placed beside the main line. So if this is a main pressure line, from a specific point, accumulator is added over here. What is the function of the accumulator? The function of accumulator is to maintain the pressure. Whenever the pressure increases, it will store the pressure, and if the pressure reduces, it actually helps the recapture that specific pressure. Okay, so what will happen ultimately when there is a fluctuation available in the main pressure line? It will help to reduce that specific fluctuation, sudden peak in the pressure, sudden lowering the pressure. It will reduce that specific pressure fluctuation. So the basic function of the accumulator is to maintain the pressure line and to reduce the pressure peaks and the lowering of the pressure. Understood? The basic symbol of the accumulator looks something like this. Now accumulators basically comes in the varieties. Okay, the very first is the deadweight accumulator, and if you want to show the deadweight accumulator, you need to show the very first thing, a specific line that is available over here, and on that line you need to show the deadweight, which can be represented with the help of a square or a rectangle. So this is indicating the deadweight loaded accumulator. The second kind of accumulator is known as the spring loaded accumulator. Instead of the deadweight, we can keep a spring which can be adjusted. So if there is a variable spring available, in that case you need to show the 45-degree arrow as a variable symbol, but if it is a fixed spring accumulator, this is the symbol. This is how it will look like. If the variable spring, you need to show the arrow. Clear? So this is what we are having as a spring loaded accumulator symbol. The third accumulator is the gas charged accumulator. So in the upward side, we will be having the arrow of the pneumatic representation. This specific arrow represents the pneumatic symbol. As you can observe, if it is a completely block, it will represent the hydraulic symbol, but over here this represents the gas in this case. So this symbol is the gas charge accumulator symbol. Now the next miscellaneous component is the intensifier. It is also known as the pressure booster. So whenever we are having the low pressure line and we want to increase the pressure, in that case the intensifier is used. Okay, so as you can observe, the name suggests the function of this specific symbol, the pressure booster. Now how this specific work? So basically intensifier is the hydraulic machine for transforming the hydraulic power from the low pressure to the reduced volume at the higher pressure. How this will work? This will work something like this. As you can observe, this is the smaller area available. Now if I just try to pressurize this side, so it will move more, but there will be a low pressure. At the second side, we are having the larger area, so it will move less, but it will be having the higher pressure in this specific zone. So low pressure to higher pressure can be made, but the distance that has been moved will be limited. Understood? So this is how the intensifier will work. The next set is known as the measuring devices. So normally, as I explained you, measuring devices are actually indicated with the help of a smaller circles. If we represent something with a larger circle, they will be a pump or motors. If we represent something with the smaller circle, they represent the measuring devices. So measuring devices can be identified with the help of the smaller circle. Very first type of measuring device is the flow meter. To indicate the flow meter, you need to add two curvatures in this specific path. Okay, this is the path of the flow, and if you add these two curvatures, this two curvature in the circle shows the flow meter. It will measure the flow. Second symbol is the differential pressure gauge symbol or pressure indicator symbol. Now over here, let me just show you one basic thing. If you are having a normal pressure gauge, your pressure gauge will look something like this. This arrow represents the pressure indication, and this is the input line of this pressure indicator. Understood? So this is your normal pressure indicator, but if you show two lines towards the one single pressure measuring instrument, this shows the differential pressure gauge. So this is a simple pressure gauge, and this is the differential pressure gauge. How to differentiate both? The single pressure line indicates the simple pressure gauge, and two pressure line coming towards the pressure indicator indicates the differential pressure gauge. The third measuring device is the liquid level indicator. Now this is the inlet of this specific measuring device, and if you have two lines available something like this near to each other parallel, in that case this indicates the liquid level indicator. The next device that we are having are the temperature gauges. So the temperature gauge is indicated by one inlet line. This is the symbol of the measuring device, and in that specific circle you have to draw a thermometer like mechanism. So this is a vertical line and this is the circle which indicates the thermometer or say temperature measurement. So to represent a temperature gauge or say temperature indicating device, you need to draw this specific symbol. So this is the end of the fluid power system symbols. Keep learning. Have a good day.